Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the next session Breaking Barriers, Empowering Organ and Tissue Donation in Minority Communities. Good morning. My name is Bobby Howard, and I am currently the director of the Multicultural Education Program for LifeLink of Georgia. I am so happy and glad that you've decided to join us this morning for this wonderful and powerful session as we enter into the territory of how do we empower organ and tissue donation in minority communities. I have two very special guests that I will get to and introduce here in a few seconds. But once again, my name is Bobby Howard with LifeLink of Georgia. And briefly, a little bit about me. I am a 30-year kidney transplant recipient, a former professional football player, and a little about once I retired from the NFL, I was notified that I was in end-stage renal disease. I didn't go through the stages. It was real acute, and it came on very fast. And going through that process, it was challenging. I knew a little bit about organ donation because in 1976, my mother received a kidney transplant. So I knew a little when I was familiar, but I didn't know about the barriers and all the other issues as it came to how do you get the transplant, how do you get on the waiting list, and all of those aspects as we look at donation and transplantation. So going through that process, it taught me a lot. And being a survivor and a patient of 30 years, I've learned a lot. And hopefully today we will be able to share some very positive information with you about organ, eye, and tissue donation. And through my journey in working with LifeLink for the past 30 years, I've been able to work in the African American and Hispanic communities to really empower those communities to understand how important life is. And I truly believe if we talk about life and we talk about how important that how or what role we play in life, in that we have a better opportunity to help those who are less fortunate than what we are. And I was one of those less fortunate ones that my kidneys failed and I needed a transplant. And where was it going to come from? My family, we were not matches because of their health and the issues that they have with the disease process of high blood pressure and diabetes. So it was a challenge and it was a struggle, but I've made it through. And now I'm here to be able to empower and give you guys wonderful information as we share in this wonderful dynamic session. As I mentioned earlier, we have two great speakers along with me. But before I get to them, I'd just like to start off with, do you know that here in the United States, 37% of the 63,000 who are waiting for kidney transplants are multicultural patients? Why is that? That's one of the questions that you could ask yourself. Why is it so many large communities that in the minority communities are waiting for kidney transplants? Another fact that we really want to think about today is the disease management, kidneys, high blood pressure, diabetes, heart failure, obesity. What can we do? How can we change that narrative and get the multicultural communities to work and better understand how important when you are diagnosed with those issues, how do you control them? How do you work? How do you work with your family? How do you work with clinicians? How do you work with just community leaders to understand about changing our diet, exercising? Those are some of the things hopefully we will hit on today. And last but not least, how do we really talk to our communities about organ, eye, and tissue donation? How do we empower people, give them the power to understand that they truly can make a difference in their lives? We have living donation, we have deceased donation. But if we just think about that, we have wonderful lives that we live, and we're all truly blessed. But if we can just give something to help someone else, what a powerful statement, impactful that we can have on someone else's life. So that's a little bit about me. That's a little bit about what we're going to be talking about today. So sit back, stay tuned, relax, grab your coffee, be prepared to ask lots of questions. We have a short time and we really can talk about this subject matter for days on end. But we only have a little less than an hour to talk to you this morning. So I'm going to be quiet a little bit and introduce my first guest that I have along with me is Miss Latrice Price. Latrice, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
Latrice, can you start off by giving the audience and telling a little background about who you are, what you do?
Sure. I am Latrice Price. I'm here in the beautiful city of Baltimore, Maryland, and I work for Infinite Legacy. We are the organ procurement organization that covers Maryland, DC, and the northern part of Virginia. So I've been with the organization almost 28 years. Next in May, it'll be 28 years. And so what I do is I go out into the community, talk to people about organ and tissue donation, helping dispel some of those myths that people believe in our communities, helping build trust in those communities, because that's very important in our community as well. And I'm
Latrice, thank you for that. And let's be fair to the audience. Latrice and I go way back. This is not the first time that we're meeting. We've crossed paths millions of times I can think of. But Latrice, thank you for that wonderful introduction, and thank you for joining us. Latrice, I'm going to start off with you today. We all know that there are lots of myths and misperceptions and innuendos out there in the community. And for the work that you do, can you share with us what are some of the myths and innuendos and misperceptions in the community? And then once you mention those, tell us, how do you combat those?
Yes. So the biggest myth that most people believe, and I'm sure everybody's heard this, is that they're not going to save my life. If I have their heart or the dot, whatever symbol that your state puts on your driver's license or ID, they are not going to save my life if I have that on there. And so we have a discussion with people to talk about, what that means, having that symbol on your driver's license, what it means to actually become an organ donor. A lot of times when we get to the nitty-gritty of the whole process of organ donation, that is not actually the hospital that makes the decision, that it's a separate organization like the OPO that comes in and have that discussion, then a lot of people are a little bit more comfortable. Some people say, well, I'm not sure yet, but sharing the process and the steps of that makes people somewhat more comfortable. Having an individual with us a lot of times who has been through the process, either as a donor family or as a recipient, helps them understand a little bit more. One of the most important things I feel like is identifying people in their own community who has received, their neighbors. A lot of times people say, I don't know anybody that looked like me that ever received a transplant. I don't know anybody who ever donated their loved one's organs. There have been times when I've been at a church and I ask people to raise their hand if you're a recipient or if you know somebody waiting. And there have been times when I say, raise your hand if you know somebody who is a donor, living or deceased donor, and people raise their hand. And that church community never knew that this person sitting next to them in the pew, had this connection to donation, because sometimes, like in our communities, we are open, but sometimes not so much open with some of the things that are happening with us. And so we don't always share that what's going on. And part of getting people comfortable with that is building trust. People have barriers that they believe in organ donation because they don't have that trust, just historically, because of some of the things that we've dealt with in the past with Tuskegee, and here in Baltimore, Henrietta Lacks, and there are a whole lot other mistrust that people believe. And so just helping people get comfortable, building that trust in the community, not just always coming in the community talking about organ donation, but finding out what the needs are of that community. In some of our communities here in Baltimore, they live in a food desert. So kind of helping with that by providing them with food, getting a grant from the Maryland Food Bank is what we did. And we were able to provide food to people in the community. We would have information about organ donation, but they will always ask, like, who are you? What is this organization? What do you do? And then bam, we have that brochure to talk about who we are and what we do. And so they get to identify us and recognize us in that way as someone, a partner coming into community, helping with some of the needs of that community. And another big piece of that is we often hear that people come in our communities, get what they want, take what they want, and then they abandon us. So it's important that once we've been in a community, identified some of the needs, to still remain a big presence in that community by doing whatever is next and helping that community.
Thank you, Latrice. And I know there's a lot of things and a lot of myths, and I know you and your team and colleagues across the country have been battling some of those myths and misperceptions. And you gave a wealth of knowledge there. And thank you for that answer and answering a lot that you just gave there. So, Latrice, do you think, based on those myths and perceptions that are out there in the community, do you think that those perceptions are different different based on the different parts of the country and different states that we're in, or is that something that you think is universal?
I think that is universal, that people have a mistrust in the medical community, and that if they have that symbol in their driver's license, that their life isn't going to be saved. So I've traveled a lot, and when people, if I'm wearing something that's donation related, and they say, "Oh, what's that organization? Or what do you all do?" Somebody always brings up a story. For instance, this past weekend, a lady sitting next to me in a restaurant, she said, asked me, what did I do? And I told her, and she shared with me that she was asked to donate her placenta when she had her baby. And she was like, wow, I've never heard of that before. She was nervous, but she thought it would help people, and she did it. And so, but she did share that she was always afraid of organ donation, but when confronted with that at that moment, that she said yes, and she did it. So I do believe that it is universal, that number one myth, that people think that their life isn't going to be saved if they are an organ donor.
Thank you, Latrice. I do have another question for you. There's been a lot of things in the news, policy changes and things that are going to be different here. And can you tell me, with the recent policy changes, such as removing the race variable from EGFR calculation, how do you think that has helped the African American community? And you think that was with these policy changes, there will be a real uptick in more African Americans receiving transplants?
I think it's been great for people that are on the wait list. I think in the community, for people who really didn't know about that, how many of us know where the EGFR is? We don't, unless we're faced with kidney disease. So when that was announced, there were Facebook discussions about it. There were TikTok videos about it. And I had lots of family and friends like send me those messages to say, is this true? Why did they do that? So I think on the side of someone that's waiting, it is great. I think on the side of our community that we're educating, it was confusing to them. And it felt like another stab in the heart of, here they go, taking something else away from us, or they kept something away from us for years. And now they're changing it. And I try to share with people who I've had the discussion with that, yes, they changed it. So if you go ahead and take that off your driver's license, you're not helping. So keep it on your driver's license, so you can be a bigger part of people who now can receive or be listed earlier to receive a kidney transplant, will get that transplant, because there are more people on that list of potential donors that can reach, that they can pull from when someone is in need of a transplant. And even if you're healthy enough to go on to be a living donor for someone that you can help as well. So it was to me, it was good for people waiting, minorities waiting for a transplant, but it was confusing, and it left some people disheartened that this was done over the years.
And I concur with that. As a recipient, as I mentioned earlier, when I first saw that and I read about it to truly understand, I knew what EGFR was, but I didn't know how it all worked when I was waiting for a transplant. But understanding of how it works, I was a little disheartened. And I was like, I would have been one of the people who called and said, hey, why did it take so long to make this change? Mm-hmm. But in truly understand, I really believe, and I think, you keep mentioning the word education, and how important education is. And I think as we continue to move the needle and we continue to help patients and their family members understand, education is key. And so with education being the key, as we continue to work and you continue to do all the great work that you're doing in your Baltimore area, what message would you have for our listening audience to truly have a better understanding of EGFR, kidney disease, and just what's going on in the community as pertains to the donation side?
I would say educate yourself, like organizations like the American Kidney Fund. There are other organizations out there to educate yourself. In addition to having information at our tables about organ donation, we want people to be healthy. I always jokingly say to people, we don't want your organs so you don't need them. You can live a long time and still become an organ donor. So yes, education is the key. Educating yourself. Like, I didn't know anything about EGFR until I ran into nephrologist at an event that I was doing, and she came over and had a conversation with me and said, make sure your doctor is doing these tests on you. And I said, okay. And I put it in my cell phone. And when I went to my doctor, she was already doing it and I didn't know. So your doctors may be doing it. So it might be an opportunity to find out, if you don't have kidney disease, but you have a potential, and I had a potential because diabetes is rampant in my family, then, making sure your doctors are doing the test that they should be to kind of help get ahead of, any kidney disease or any other health issues that you may have. So just educating yourself on kidney disease, if it's in your family, or any other health issues that are in your family. Education is very important. And then reach out to organizations. If you're totally not understanding what's going on, reach out to organizations to help you in your community, because we are there. Other organizations are there to kind of help you. We want you to be healthy.
Thanks, Latrice, for that. I have one more question for you before we get to our next panelist and our next guest that we have for us. Is there anything else? I know in the very beginning on my first question, you rattled off quite a few myths and perceptions that are out there in the community. Is there anything else out there that you feel that you've missed that you would want to share, that something that may be hampering people from considering becoming organ and tissue donors?
Yes, one of the other barriers we hear about is religion. My religion doesn't support it. Most organized religions do support organ donation. So I would encourage you to look up the doctrine of your organization, your religious organization, to see what they say about organ donation, because there is a doctrine about organ donation for every religion to explain their take and their thoughts on organ donation. It's an act of giving. You're giving life to someone else. So it's important to do that. And one of the biggest things that we like to share is have these open conversations with your family. Let your family know your thoughts about organ donation. They can share their thoughts with you about organ donation, so that if something was to happen to you, they know what your wishes are. We sometimes hear in the community that, I was asked to make my loved one an organ donor when something happened to them, but I didn't, because I just didn't know what they wanted. So just having that open dialogue about organ donation. And of course, we are always there to help. We're there. We want to be a part of these conversations if you need us to be. And we want to help you understand the importance of it. There are a lot of people that look like us that are on the waiting list, waiting for not just kidneys, but other organs. So it's important that we be a part of the conversation. So that we're getting transplants to help save lives too. So people can live on for 30 plus years like Bobby.
Thanks, Latrice. And thank you for that. And don't go anywhere, because we're going to come back to you. But I want to bring on our next guest. We have another guest. And, in this community, I always say sometimes it seems like when I do these events that I'm the only male. So I am so excited that I have another male who is in this battle along with me, who's out there fighting on the front lines, Mr. Emmett Henderson.
Hey, Bobby, thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Good morning, Emmett. Thank you for joining us today. I know you come with a wealth of information. One thing that I don't like to do is introduce people and steal their thunder. So can you give us a little background on who Mr. Emmett Henderson is? Where are you? What do you do? Why are you here? All those good things about yourself before we get into some questions that I have for you this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Emmett Henderson III. I reside in Southern California in San Diego. Up until 2019, I started advocating for a disease that debilitated me for 30 years this month, Bobby. We got something in common. Mine was 30 years ago when I was diagnosed with systemic lupus and lupus nephritis, which is the kidney disease that I've unfortunately have. I managed to, maintain my kidneys for a long time. On the other side, with lupus giving me some problems, I ended up having a transplant in 2013. I went 9.5 years being okay, but my advocacy brought me to other countries, like in Africa. I had a chance to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, but when I got to the high point, my lungs gave out. And I thought that I was coming back to the United States with lung treatment. They also told me now I'm in second kidney failure. So I'm in my second kidney failure now. That was 2.5 years ago. I've, learned a lot more about everything that I'm doing. I'm way more proactive on trying to get a kidney. And that's one reason why I'm here. I want to share some of my knowledge and some of the experience that I have been through, how my first transplant went, and what I'm doing now to get my second one.
Thank you. Thank you for that introduction and being vulnerable and sharing that private information about yourself. And I believe that, as recipients or people who are going through this, that we must share. So I really do appreciate you being vulnerable and sharing what you've gone through. But my first question for you, Emmett, and you kind of hit on it, is that you are now waiting your second transplant. Can
Yes, I
you
am.
give the audience out there, what is that like? What are you going through? What are some of the thoughts and what has that process been like for you?
For me, it's just hoping it comes sooner than not, because of the fact that what the things that I'm going through this term of kidney failure, I'm going through a lot worse than what I did the first time. And so, with all the things that I'm doing to try to be proactive, luckily for me, I've had a nice following that had helped me to try to donate, but things fell through. And, because of that, there's times that I feel down about that because I want a kidney. I want to get back to my normal life. I've experienced having a normal life after a kidney transplant, and it was amazing. And that's what I'm trying to get back to. But the waiting process and hearing some of the people that had fell through, kind of disappointment, but I don't look at it that no more. I look at it as being grateful that they've even tried. And to me, it's in God's time. And when God tells me that the transplant is ready, that will be the time that I will accept it. We go from there.
Thank you. Well, I think we all here on this call, and as someone new who just met you, I will be keeping you in my prayers and hoping for the best for you, because life is very short and life is simple, but at the end of the day, it's that when you have good people like yourself who is giving back to the community and who has a love for the community, that we hope for the best for you. So we will keep you in our prayers and thoughts, and that someone will have a bright light on you and say, this is for Emmett, and
I
that's what
appreciate
we
that.
believe in. So,
Yes,
so
sir.
can you share with us what caused your kidney to fail the second time?
Well, what the doctors kind of concluded to me that 9.5 years was a long time for me, and it just had failed with it. I had asked, did anything have to do with the high altitude that I was at? And he told me no. And now that I think about it, I started to have symptoms prior to going to my trip to Africa. It's just that having lupus, the symptoms kind of bump heads a little bit where they're almost the same. So I couldn't tell if it was anything. The last thing I was thinking that it was kidney failure, because again, I went 9.5 years with no problems at all. And lupus was still, around. It was still giving me some heartaches. So I decided to just go ahead and rest the last week before I was supposed to go. I felt like I got better. And then when I got to Africa, everything went good for about 2.5 weeks until I started the climb on the high altitude. When I got there, again, with having the pulmonary edema with my lungs, I unfortunately had to come back down. I ended up going to a hospital out there. And then 2.5 weeks later, I'm back in the States. Now, what the doctors surprised me again was coming in the room, and I'm expecting, give me the prognosis on my lungs. And they were saying, that's the least of your problem. You're in kidney failure, complete. And I'm thinking, how did I go from no problems at all to complete? And he has said that it must have been going on for a while. It's just that climbing that high altitude and then having the lung problem may have sped up the process of complete failure.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And we never put a hold on, and we can never find, no one's situation is the same. So,
Right.
Thanks for sharing that. So, Emmett, another question. Now that you're on the waiting list, can you share with our listeners and our audience and our fellow transplant recipients and those who are waiting, what is your experience? What was your experience like going through the process of the evaluation? That can be different as you go through it, but what was your experience like?
My experience was pretty lengthy in between. One time an appointment would be for this process, and then I'd have appointment in 3 or 4 more months for the next process. My brother announced to me, my brother gave me the kidney back in 2013. He announced to me in June, Father's Day, that he was donating me a kidney. Unfortunately, we didn't get that kidney till February, the following February, the next year. So it was very lengthy for me, and I didn't question why was the process lengthy. I was just blessed to have a kidney coming.
Now, do you feel going through it the first time and now that you're waiting again, has that process changed any, in your opinion?
No, I don't think so. It's the same hospital that I had my first transplant with. They were very familiar with me, and everything is going the way it is. It's just that, again, I wish I would hear from them more, whether I have potential donors or not, because if I don't make that call, I'm not hearing anything. So I'm just doing my part on my end, excuse me, being proactive and, looking for a living kidney donor.
Thank you, Emmett. And what advice do you have for those who are waiting and who have gone through some of the similar things that you've gone through? What advice would you have for them?
The advice I have is that keep hope. There is a kidney out there for you, but you can speed up the process by being proactive again and helping find that kidney yourself. There's all kind of ways that we can put our stories out there where somebody will hear it and eventually somebody will bless us with a kidney. And I know it's going to happen to me because I've had people hear my story, people wanting to donate, but again, unfortunately, it didn't fall, in my direction. So, and that's okay. That is perfectly okay. I just know the fact that they're trying, that the love is out there, and my kidney is going to come. Like I said, Bobby, it's just a matter of time. I've learned to be patient with it. I've learned to embrace what I'm going through and accept what I'm going through. And again, it is a lot worse than it was the first time, but I'm just adjusting to do whatever I got to do to wait for that kidney.
Thank you. You said a key point there. One of the things, when I'm working in the community and working with people and advocating for them, as I always like to share, you have to be an advocate for your own self.
Absolutely.
It's great to have other advocates advocating on your behalf, but you have to advocate for yourself as well. So that was a great point that you put out there, because I truly believe that sometimes we as patients, we feel that we don't have that strength or that power or to do that for ourselves, but we do have it. And it's great that you are here today to share that and to encourage people to be an advocate for yourself. Is that if you're not an advocate for yourself, then why should anyone else advocate for you? I mean, there's all kind of media streams and ways to get your information and your story out of what you need. And I often tell a lot of people that I meet all the time, my canned response to them, they'll say, Mr. Howard, I need a kidney. What can I do? I'm like, well, people are going to say, well, how can I help you? Tell them, easy, give me one of your kidneys. That's the best help they can give you.
100%.
And then, and so, those are type of things, but thank you for sharing that. And so, Emmett, my last question for you before we open this up and take questions from the chat and our listening audience is, what is your day-to-day like? I know that has changed since you started on re-enlisted again, but what is your day-to-day like?
Because of the symptoms that I have, which is major fatigue, prior to my kidney failure, I was always a go-getter. I got up and ran around. I did everything despite the lupus part. But then with this kidney failure, it slowed me down a little bit. Now that I'm 2.5 years into it now, I've adjusted, like I said, and now I feel like I can run around, still do everything. However, I do know for the fact that because I'm in kidney failure, I still have to be careful, and I don't push my limits like I used to. Every man wants to go to that highest limit, but we also have to understand what our bodies are going through, so I don't. So my day-to-day is, first thing, because of my organization and because of all the advocacy I do, I connect in the morning via email with a lot of people, organizations, on what's going on, what's the next event, what's happening next. And then I go out through the day, me and my fiance, we will just take off just to get some fresh air. You live in Southern California, right next to the beaches. You got to get outside. And I do. That's a good mental point to where my mental wellness is pretty much intact, because I know that I'm not isolated. I know that I'm not a victim to this illness and disease. I know that being in kidney failure doesn't stop me from traveling and doing things. Unfortunately, I do dialysis 6 nights a week. And I do home hemodialysis. I do it myself. And that gives me the empowerment, the freedom, the discipline to do anything that I want in the day, because again, I feel like I'm not restricted. And I would give that advice to everyone. Just because you have an illness, think about it. You're not restricted. You don't have to be restricted. Let people work with you and your ability and not your disability.
Thank you, Emmett. And once again, we are praying for you. We are praying for all of those who are out there who are being listed if you are waiting for a transplant. But now at the time, we're going to open this up. So please, as the listeners, drop your questions in the chat. We do already have some questions in the chat that we're going to start with. But my first question I'm going to start with is for Latrice. What are some effective outreach strategies through education and partnerships for organ and tissue donation?
Here in our area, we've partnered with some of the local council people to help reach communities. And so, again, I mentioned building that trust, finding out what the community needs are. We do focus groups. So when we focus on a community that we're going to outreach in, and we do that by pulling data, looking at the wait list numbers. Looking at the donor designation numbers, like how many people are designated in that area. And then that's how we decide that that's a community that we should be focusing on. And so we do a focus group. And so we find out what the community needs are. And so we try to reach out and educate and build that trust through those ways based on what the community through the focus group say their issues are in that community.
Thank you, Tricia. And I would totally agree, being here in Atlanta and being a part of the education for the communities, partnerships and community partnerships go a long way. And building those relationships, it's all about building trust. So partnering with civic organizations like the Links Incorporated, your fraternities and sororities, partnering with churches, and getting people on your side, because we all do know that here in the African American and our minority communities, high blood pressure, diabetes run rampant. And I'm a firm believer that if we don't talk about the health issues first, instead of always barreling in talking about organ donation, that message doesn't get across. So we have to be careful and mindful is that people care about their health. Those education efforts will come, but we really have to talk about health, healthy living, and changing our lifestyle so we can slow down the rate of these diseases that are rampant in our community. Emmett, with you being recently listed for a second time, is someone automatically listed as soon as they're diagnosed with end-stage renal disease, or are they automatically listed?
Unfortunately, they're not. There's a series of tests that they'd have to go through, and then just to make sure that you're even eligible to receive a kidney. So there's a lot that has to be done with that. When I went into kidney failure, because I had a kidney transplant prior, they did so much test on me to make sure I'm eligible for another one. And that included the overall physical exam of my health. And luckily I was. And so therefore I am on the list and I'm ready.
All right. Thanks. Now, Emmett, to go along with that, was there any specific documentation or anything that you had to submit to get on the waiting list?
No, there wasn't. My hospital did it all for me, and they actually kept me abreast on everything where they were. So, and again, that starts with me making sure that I ask all the questions and not just, lay back and wait for them to tell me. I want to know everything. And when I ask that, then they feel impelled to make sure that they give me answers.
Thank you. And Latrice, for you, I want to donate my organs, but I'm unsure if my job will give me time off. Are there programs out there to assist financially if I'm off? Is there programs out there that will help me on the financial side?
Yes, I know every state is different. There have been legislation on federal levels as well as state levels to help people who's willing to help others that are in need. So I would encourage you to first go to your job to find out what their guidelines are for something like that, because you're doing an ultimate gift giving to someone else. Yes. And then looking at your state and seeing what the laws and rules are there. And then federally, there's there on each level, there is information on how to become a living donor and to kind of help you through that process, because you're helping someone else.
And just to add on, I think there's a lot of states who have some kind of programs through their legislation have put some guidelines in to help financially. And I can speak here in Georgia. We have an organization. I'm going to give them a shameless plug, the Georgia Transplant Foundation, who does a lot of great work for people who are waiting and recipients to help out financially. So that's a plus. That if you're out there and you're in Georgia, the Georgia Transplant Foundation also is an organization that assists. So if you're in there, if you're someone who is thinking about it, as the tree stated, talk to people around, talk to the transplant center, because there are organizations, there are some legislations out there that will help you financially if you want to be a living donor. Now, Latrice, we all know that, as you stated earlier, about some of the myths and misperceptions about organ donation. How did you respond to people who are hesitant about becoming organ donors and signing their name to the registry?
I just try to share with them the steps in the process. A lot of times when people understand that it's not the doctor there, they're just going to snatch their organ out. When they understand that their family, there's a conversation with their family, they're usually a little bit more comfortable. Also, having a donor family there to talk about the process and the steps that they went through. We have a volunteer that volunteers with us. She's a 2-time kidney recipient as well as a 3-time donor family. So having someone with that type of connection to share these stories, the experience that their family has gone through. Because imagine, like, she has gone through this process 3 times, so she can attest to the fact that her loved one, they did everything that they possibly could at the hospital for her loved one. And then organ donation was brought to the table and that her family said yes. And so just having that education, again, we keep talking about education, but just having those conversations are very, very important.
Yeah. And Emmett, how would you respond to someone, who says, man, Emmett, I would love to be an organ donor, but man, I'm just not sure, if that's something I want to do. How would you respond and how would you work with them on that question?
Well, I like everything that Latrice said basically on that. But from my point of view, being a transplant recipient already, I would bring up the fact that my brother had given me a kidney. And to this day, me and him are so close and so active. And he's living a really good, healthy life. You can live on 1 kidney. And all this, again, comes about the educational part of donating an organ. If you read into it, educate yourself on some of the things. Everything has side effects, but at the same time, you also look at the benefit, which outweighs the side effect. I mean, just to save a life, that is priceless right there. And that's what they're doing. When you have these organizations like the American Kidney Fund that, show you ways how you can, donate a kidney and how the advantage is and help. Educate yourself with that. That would definitely give you a little better thought of the whole outcome.
Thank you for that. And I'd just like to add as well, I share with everyone is that you have the opportunity to become a hero. You have the opportunity to give life to someone else, and you have opportunity to save life. How many people can actually say that either I saved life or my loved one has actually saved someone's life and that person is living today? Yes. So strongly consider becoming an organ and tissue donor. And on that, Latrice, I've mentioned tissue several times. Can you tell the listening audience, when I say tissue or when we say tissue in our industry, in this OPO world, what are we talking about? What do we mean by that?
Well, first of all, we know that 1 organ donor can save up to 8 lives. And so with tissue donation, there are a lot more lives that can be saved or enhanced, 75 or more. I recently learned last year, one of my colleagues' mom was a tissue donor, and she went on to help over 100 people through her tissues. So tissues are skin that can be used for burn patients. Cornea, you can help give sight. Although I have these glasses on, I can still help give sight to someone else. And so that's a number of people. Veins, oftentimes, people who have bypass surgery, usually they try to use their own veins, but if they cannot, they use veins from a donor. Bone can be used. Bone can be used in various ways. It can be used whole, or it can be used grinded up to use as a putty for dental work. So there are many, many uses for our one body that can help save so many more lives.
Thanks, Latrice, and you hit that right on here. But always, I know we say organ, eye, and tissue donation, but I think our listening audience and just the general public, when we say tissue, doesn't have a clear understanding on what that truly is. So thank you for that explanation. Now,
Yes.
for both of you, is there a difference between living donation and deceased donation when it comes to becoming a donor?
What I know about that is that you get a more likely a longer life from a living donor. And like I said, my brother had given me a kidney, and I went 9.5 years, which is about the estimated time the doctors told me you got about a 10-year kidney. We made it 9.5 years. And then unfortunately, I've known people that had got deceased donors, and you're probably looking at under 5 years once they start getting complications or have to go back on dialysis again.
So us being the organ procurement organization, we deal with the deceased donation process. Here in Maryland, we're not involved with the living donation process that is handled by our transplant centers. So we deal with the deceased donation part of that, and that is a little bit different. Again, like Emmett received a kidney from his brother. I have friends who received a kidney from their loved one. So that process is totally different. Where you go to the transplant center, they handle the whole process. For deceased donation, that can happen in any hospital, even if it's not a transplant center. So they call us, and then we go and evaluate the patient to see if they're suitable for donation, and then go forward from there.
Thank you guys for that. I really want to again thank the two of you for being a part of this wonderful, wonderful presentation, and giving your thoughts and your wisdom. And hopefully what you have given today has truly been a blessing to help someone else out there who didn't know any of the things that we've discussed today. So thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for being open. Thank you for sharing about you and sharing about what you do and why this is so important and meaningful to you and your families and the communities that you serve. But before we go, I do have one final question. Latrice, what is something that you could leave our listening audience with that they can hold on to and giving hope to them if they're waiting, giving hope to them if they're already recipient? But what do you want to leave our listening audience with today?
There are over 100,000 people nationally waiting for an organ transplant. If you don't know, if you're not signed up as an organ donor and you're not 100% sure, just educate yourself. Reach out to your local organ procurement organization to get some more information. Is very important. I just want to say, like, there are people like Emmett, people like Bobby, who've been living great, fabulous lives with that organ donation. So consider, at the end of your life, leaving a legacy for someone else. And also, I just want to add to that, it's a great thing to do. And I think that's all I have.
Thank you, Emmett, what would you like to, what one thing would you like to leave our listening audience with today?
That there's the fact that people think that you have to be a match 100% in order to donate, and you don't. The donor exchange program that's out there will allow you to donate whether you're a match to your loved one or whoever it is. And the way that works is that they pull somebody out of the database that is a match for you. And if you still decide to donate on my behalf to that person, not only are you saving that person's life, but that puts me at the top of the transplant list where my life will be saved with a transplant coming because of that exchange. So there is a donor exchange program. And if you feel that you have a loved one, but you're not a match, you still can participate. You still can save some lives and be that hero, Bobby, that we talked about.
Thank you both. And I think I want to answer this question as well. I think what I want to leave everyone with is that you've heard some great information today, but all of this information you heard today will not be helpful if you don't utilize some of the information that you heard today. All the information is not going to fit everyone. Every situation, my situation, Emmett's situations may not be your situation. Whatever your situation may be, please take control of your life. Take control over your health care and be an advocate for yourself. I am a true believer in this whole donation transplantation process. I believe that the more we put in, the more we take out. But we have to have better control of our own situation. And so, in leaving you today, is stay strong, be empowered, be encouraged. If you have those three monikers and you stay with those three things and you believe in those things, then things will work itself out. We all live in a world in circumstances that we cannot control. And things we cannot control, we should not worry about. It will all take care of itself. But let's keep living. That's what it's truly all about. Regardless of what circumstance and what situation that we're dealing with, if we keep living, things will take care of itself. Mind over matter. If you believe things are going to be okay, they're going to be okay. If you have doubt, then you have a lot of doubt that creeps in and things may not turn out the way that you want. So stay strong, stay empowered, and be hopeful and be prayerful that whatever situation you are in, that it will come to be out and turn out the best for you. So before I close, I would just like to thank each and every one of you again for taking so much time out. A big thank you to Latrice and Emmett for being vulnerable and sharing. Thank you to the American Kidney Fund for having us be a part of your Kidney Week. It's truly been an experience. And for me personally, thank you for giving me this opportunity to share with you and to be your moderator of this wonderful and powerful, empowering organ and tissue donation in minority communities session. Please take care of yourself. There are ways that you can get involved. Please seek out those ways to get involved. We hope for you that you found this information to be very helpful and to be very enlightening. If you have any questions, further questions, please reach out to the American Kidney Fund and we will find an answer for you. If we can't find an answer for you, we will continue to look for an answer for you. But we believe that we have a lot of information to offer. And it's so unfortunate we only had 45, 50 minutes to share with you today. But we can talk for days on and days on end. Stay strong, stay empowered, and continue. Good luck to each and every one of you. Thank you for joining us this morning. Continue prayers for all of you. Thank you once again.
Living with IgAN is not knowing what the future brings. Can leave you dizzy, nauseous for no reason, tired. Living with IgAN is living in uncertainty. I guess my original first sign would have been in June 2016. Was having a couple issues, feeling some pain in my side, not knowing what it was at the moment. I was admitted to the hospital in Stanford on a Friday night. It turned out to be passing a kidney stone. During COVID, I started mainly doing some driving for myself independently, and I was getting headaches. And those headaches would last a couple days, and I would just take whatever because I wanted to get rid of the headache. Going through all that driving, figuring, okay, I'm not drinking enough, I'm not eating right, I'm in the car all day. So I'm figuring that's the cause of the headaches. My primary care physician sent me in to a neurologist. She also noticed the kidney functions drop even more, and she was sending me to a nephrologist. When the kidney biopsy report came back, the doctors informed me that I had IgA nephropathy. Looking back now, I can now connect those dots. It becomes more of a relief because now you know for sure what's wrong and how they're going to treat it. I think I got the best description of it today from my new nephrologist. He actually explained you might want to look at one of these new approved treatments because even though your numbers are low and doing well, still people in your situation wind up on dialysis. I'm someone who I could even remember 10 years ago not wanting to get a blood test. Now it's, oh, you're going to get a biopsy. I think, well, that's no big deal. Even before the diagnosis, I always enjoyed spending time with my family. I just now know that I have something that I have to pay attention to. If you find out you have any disease, you should go out, look for support groups, look for advocacy groups, find people that you can connect with that are in the same boat as you.